Hello and welcome back to Kaiserreich. We're on a new version. It is a hotfix only, so I don't think this one warrants a full patch notes video where we go through focus trees and no changes and stuff like that. The next one for that is probably not going to be until China gets released. Like the China rework, that is. But yeah, we're now on hotfix 0.9.1. Let's hope that this hasn't messed up the save game in any way, shape, or form. I doubt it has. Past hotfixes have not done that. But what the hotfix generally did is mostly fix stuff with the United States of America, their Civil War and stuff. Like, there was this one strange issue with the Civil War, which, you know, had some interesting flavor to it, I suppose. But it also added a bunch of stuff for Iceland, some music, I think, and changed some music mod-related stuff with the Nordic Federation, so that music from all the different countries plays if you are the Nordic Federation. And yeah, just like general small fixes like that. Nothing major, but there's also another cool thing. The 1.7 beta version of Hoi4 itself is out, and I might make a video on that. That update, while not huge, seems incredibly interesting for many reasons. One of them is it is going to 64 bits, which won't do a lot for us as players, but it'll do a lot for the developers. Also, a lot of changes to submarines that I'm really happy with, which makes them a lot more, I guess, in line with reality. Like, for example, submarines in the new version can actually fire while retreating, which is actually very apt, because submarines do have like fore and port, fore and what is it? Is it fore and stern? Yeah, fore and stern torpedo tubes usually. You can probably see it over here. Yeah, I mean, sort of, not really. I think, so this is the front tubes, and this is basically torpedo storage, I suppose. But in reality, they would have, at least the German V7, I think it's called, V7B or something, early war submarine type had, I think, 4 front tubes and 2 back tubes, I think. As well as, like, or not stern, what am I saying? Aft, it's aft. Aft torpedo, yeah, so you have like aft torpedo storage or torpedo tubes and stuff. You have like 2 there or whatever, and like 4 in the front or something, or 2 or whatever, I don't remember. Basically just a lot of them in the front, and then the back ones are for reserve or if you're like retreating. It's very helpful if a destroyer is like right on your tail to just lose the torpedo. Also, like, in theory, I suppose, use it to confuse the sonar men, or the people on the hydrophone of the... I think we're going to research fighters, because we don't really have like a lot of long-range enemies. We're probably going to need political power before we do that, but yeah. Oh my god. Okay, so we're going to deal with this in a little bit, but I'm just going to finish my my little tangent, that's the word. Finish my little tangent about torpedoes. So you can, in theory, launch a torpedo behind you, which will then be heard by the hydrophone and also create a lot of noise in the water. That is, if you're, you know, submerged, which hopefully if you're being pursued by a destroyer, you are. Can you tell I've been playing a bunch of U-boat sim stuff? It's a lot of fun. Yeah, so we should do the research stuff first before we do the Russian stuff. I thought we would have more time until, or before a war with Russia. But evidently we do not. So we might need all this stuff very quickly. We don't really need air power right now, because we can't really produce any air power stuff. You, swap over. We are aggressive, so we might... declare... No, that's the Russian Republic. We can't do that. There is no way, shape, or form we can win that war. My man, Piotr Wrangel here has 83 to 168 divisions, and the Soviets have 39 to 77. They're losing. Piotr is going to win, and our entry, or the entry of 13 divisions into that war, is not going to change anything. This is not the right time. Once more, the Russian bear is at war with itself, and unlike last time, we are not in a civil war ourselves. Voices in Helsinki are whispering that this could prove to be the prime opportunity to move into Karelia and liberate our Karelian brethren. We've already done this. Haven't we? Yeah, we have. This might be, oh, this might have something to do with loading a save with the new version. Because they can sometimes bug out and cause events to repeat. Let's hope that doesn't happen again. Right, in that case, we don't have to stress. We did the artillery stuff. We don't need any of this shit. It's starting to get really hard to, like, actually pick research stuff. Is there anything that isn't out of time? Resource gain efficiency. Let's see. What would we gain? We would gain a shit ton of steel. Holy crap, I'm glad we took that from Russia. That is a lot. Yeah, let's go with excavation 1. So I'll look over at the various nations of the world and Partido Nacional Agrarista. Are they... They aren't the ones in charge at the beginning, are they? I don't think they are, no. Or am I wrong? In theory, we could have... Yeah, we could have a very, very strong... commune here, depending on the situation over here. Speaking of which, Jack Reed elected President of the United States of America. And the America First Party, the party of the South here, the party of Huey Long at the moment, are not happy with it. The America First Party, of course, in our timeline, ended up being a party against the involvement of the United States in the war. With some kind of links and you know, ties to like pro-German groups, I believe, like Friends of Germany or whatever they're called. Some like organizations which I believe had some ties to the Nazis. Petrograd completely surrounded. They are having to cross a river, which I don't know the name of this river. But it is a very strategically important river in this region, with wars between Russia and Finland. That river is like... that. Whoa, there! Following the overthrow of the monarchy, the new Norwegian syndicalist government has formally aligned itself with the Third Internationale. And also, in Italy, the Republic has elected De Alcide de Gasperi, head of the Partito Popolare Italiano, Partito Popolare Italiano, something like that. New Prime Minister has assured people, both foreign and domestic, that he will be able to resolve the Black Monday crisis. Alright then. I don't know which one of these, like which path this takes them down, if this is a Austria-friendly or Austria-hostile president. But either way, so Arbeiderpartiet are in charge. They are radical socialists in this this timeline here. I suppose having a lot of that in our timeline as well in this period, but they haven't overthrown the monarchy really though, have they? Yeah, this is a very like more traditional Norwegian government going on right now with the king and, you know, a very like social democratic okay, there's NSA, but yeah, kind of like social democratic government. I'm guessing they're different here, but yeah. But we should deal with the anti-parliamentarianism at some point soon. Users gain efficiency and supply consumption, and that would be good, but not vital right now. This is the stuff we want to go down. Domestic factory construction. It is important that we rely not only on foreign trade, but on our own industrial capacity as well. Finland has the ability to industrialize, though doing so will take a long time. This is why it is best to begin this undertaking sooner rather than later. Rapid industrialization has very rarely worked. And when it has, it's usually because the country, I think, either was like basically poised to, like in very good circumstances to, you know, make it work. Basically, like for example, Norway's industrialization, which happened very, very late compared to most of Europe. With also its like general proximity to all these industrialized nations meant that Norway basically like could it was basically like easy to just like put all this you know, industry into Norway, like the railroad and stuff to Sweden. Basically you could like set up a railroad to Sweden from like iron mines and stuff in Norway and hook Norway directly into the industrial economy, while places like Russia, for example, much larger and much wider and much more like distant from a lot of these like industrialized nations, couldn't directly basically get hooked into the industrial economy really. And yeah, and obviously you can't just easily build a railroad across the entire thing. Trans-Siberian Railroad took a long time, while here in Norway it's a much shorter distance from Narvik to to Kiruna, I think. I'm not quite sure. The fall of Petrograd. The great Soviet city, built by Peter the Great, was captured today. Soviet defenders initially held back the Russian army across the Neva River. That is what it's called, Neva River. Or Neva. Oh, Sweden has joined the Reichspakt. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Yep, so this is interesting. Socialist Norway. And whoa, Oscar Nygren. Who are you? Forced abdication. Ah. We might have to do temporary military government. Yeah, we might have to do a Sweden playthrough at some point. The fall of Petrograd. Yep, that is basically like a typical capital loss event. Let's just start doing this. Someone posted a cool comment about how a song that was played in the previous video, I don't remember which one, was used by Finland to I believe like confuse or jam Soviet radios, I think. So basically they played that song over the frequencies that would be used by the Soviets, which is very interesting and very cool. Like both a functional measure and also kind of like psyops, like playing Finnish music in their ears. Because that's what jamming really is. It's just like occupying the radio bands that someone else are using, like the wavelengths. Oh, so many spicy encirclements. We're almost at 100, so we can almost send the delegation. And yeah, we want to do that before this all gets done, and then we can do the event that gives us a minus 100 political power map. Not going to be recruiting any troops yet, I don't think, because our manpower is quite low, and I think we can only fit like one division in this. That's going to be finished, and then, you know, the next division is just going to sit there and everyone's going to be out of manpower. I'd rather have reserves to fill up divisions in case we lose. Alright, let's see. Actually, I want to check these guys. I think I've checked them in a past episode. Yeah. So I wanted to check them. I think I checked them in like the first episode. But yeah, I wanted to do another check so that I know where we want to do, or what we want to do with our army experience and stuff. Because we're going to get some now from a delegation, or send an attaché. A Waking the Tiger feature. They will not accept. Yeah, they kind of don't like us because we took that land from them. I guess that makes sense. I can find a different war. Maybe the Qing. Under Puyi. Or German East Asia, maybe. Yeah, let's send one to German East Asia. They will receive Mikko Virtanen. What does that do? I don't know. I'm going to send it anyways. I don't fully understand the attaché system. I just basically know that, you know, it's 100 political power and some, or 50 command power, and just free army experience during peacetime. Just like a win-win. Oh, speaking of Brazil, Julio Prestes. Portuguese is such a an interesting language. And of course, you know, Brazilian Portuguese is not the same as Portuguese, but it still has some of the like features to it that I think make it kind of interesting. It's got that like a very like sta sound every now and then, which I think is kind of I find interesting just because I haven't heard anything similar in like Spanish or Catalan or Catalonian. Very like distinct sound. When you hear it, you know, you sort of like, you can hear that this is Portuguese and not a different Hispanic language, or Iberian language rather. Don't know if Hispanic is the correct term. Let's go with urbanization. These are short political events, or political focus tree decisions, or whatever they're called, national focuses. So we can get them done faster, and then basically get a bunch of these stacking bonuses, essentially, or these snowballing effects. Customs barrier. We must further integrate ourselves into the Middle East, but yeah, this is not something we're getting into because this is yeah, this is reliant on this stuff. On economic dependence. It's really cool that Germany basically ends up in a situation where they create a sort of pseudo EU establishment. Kingdom of Romania declared war on Iron God Romania. And the Spanish elections. Peace rules in Spain. Whoa, wait. Today marked a startling result in the Spanish elections, held amid much violence and protest by the syndicalists and the Carlist anarchists. Despite the efforts of those fringe groups, the ruling Acción, I'm gonna give up, Popular, provided victorious, and while opposition parties initially contested the election results, so far it appears as if the win is legitimate. Well, this isn't by no means, while this by no means restores claim, but calm in the Kingdom of Spain. I think my eyes have just stopped working. It goes a long way to reassuring the public that the government maintains popular support and that a civil war has been narrowly averted. That is interesting. I don't think I've ever seen peace in Spain. Civil war averted, yeah. Ah. Whoa, that's... okay. That's really cool. So, not only do we have a Norwegian campaign where the Germans are fighting, we have a peaceful Spain in our Finland campaign. And then I have that German campaign where France attacked our ass in like... or the French attacked the French in like 1936 or something, and we just invaded. Took them over. God, I want to get back to playing that one. But some save game issues regarding the new patch make that hard to do. It's not related to Kaiserreich itself, because I could just load up the old version. As I've said before, I did some like other stuff. So, but I really want to play that one again, because in the last video, we went to war with the, well, socialist America. So we're like slowly working our way through all of these socialist nations, taking them all over. So we basically, in that playthrough, we have socialist America left and socialist Russia. Alright, Excavation 1, improved machine tools. Another major feature in the 1.7 patch for Hearts of Iron 4, which is coming, which is called Hydra. I think that's a reference to a specific operation and not Captain America. But the patch, the change that I really like is that when you're assigning front lines together with an army group, they're going to make way more sense and they're going to be way easier to manage. So let's say I click the army group here and assign a front line over here. That's going to basically draw a... like, it's going to place these two arbitrarily with a dividing point between them on a common front line delineated by, you know, individual army front lines and a army group front line which goes next to it. Now, how that changes in 1.7 is that where these two meet, you can actually just grab the meeting point and then drag that, instead of having to drag each individual one to like move the front lines. So you can basically, yeah, you can grab the meeting points of front lines and it looks so good. Serbia crowns King Alexander II, and a standoff in America. Since the end of the Austrian occupation during the 1920s, Serbia has officially been a kingdom. They never dared to crown a king, as they were forced to keep a low profile in the light of further Austrian aggression. Petar Bojovic, the regent of Serbia for almost 2 decades and a known royalist, has now decided to restore the monarchy. Alexander II, the son of former King Peter I, has accepted the crown and was today crowned as King of Serbia. This controversial move is likely to upset the Austrian and Bulgarian governments. Regent or king, what's the difference? There he is. Standoff in America. Here we go, boys. It's starting. A tense standoff has erupted in the United States as democratically elected President Reed fled to the city of Chicago after being forcibly removed from his position by General Douglas MacArthur from Chicago. From Chicago, Reed supporters have declared MacArthur's government illegitimate as the Southern supporters of Huey Long, based in New Orleans, and the Pacific governors under the leadership of Governor Frank Merriam, all have been given a deadline by General MacArthur of 30 days to either stand down or face arrest and execution. Considering all sides are rapidly raising forces, the idea that America seems headed into a second civil war seems almost certain. I see. Huey Long, who no longer can assassinate himself and then condemn himself for assassinating himself or something like that. You know, this. And Douglas MacArthur, the American Caesar as he is called, Frank Merriam, basically the only person who I believe sort of carries on the Federal Republic of the United States in a semi-legitimate fashion, because both Huey Long and, well, technically Jack Reed was elected, so he has authority, he has legitimacy, but Huey Long has no legitimacy really. And because Jack Reed was elected technically, Frank Merriam does not have legitimacy either, but Frank Merriam does represent the Pacific states here in a manner sort of akin to the way a federal president would be elected. Douglas MacArthur just straight up took his guns, his army, and said, fuck this, you guys are a threat to America. And now has created a military junta, a sort of a military dictatorship led by generals. Or not a dictatorship, because that's kind of like, that implies a man. But basically a bunch of military generals rule now. Alstrom. Please let me read it after I pick it. Founded in 1851, Alstrom is primarily known for its timber trading, sawmill operations, and shipping. By capitalizing on the company's success, we can hope to forge a better relationship with Finnish businessmen while also promoting domestic companies within Finland. That is good. Production is good, money is good, greed is good. Blow the bagpipes for Nikolai Bukharin, who soon will be no more. Speaking of will be no more, at least temporarily so, we are at the end of the video. I'm going to do a casualty report here. So, the Russian Republic has 485,000 casualties right now. The Soviet Russians have 624,000 casualties. Obviously, the brunt of the casualties are on the Soviets, who have suffered far more encirclements than the Russian Republic has. Often... Oh, this is a cool song. Oh, I kind of don't want to speak now. The Soviets and the Russians, like, that war often is decided by who gets the most encirclements. 268,000 for the Qing, and the Shangqing Changguo have 41,000 losses. Nejd 10,000, Jabal Shammar 31,000. Nejd, of course, being the Saudis. This is the Rashidis. The Indo-Chinese War seems, I mean, it is undecided still. Then the Romanian-Serbian War, which just began. 21,000, 8,000, and Serbia on the side of the of Iron Guard Romania. The Kingdom of Romania is not going. The rebellion seems to be failing. Karol will not be king. Anyways, thank you for watching. In the description you'll find a link to Twitter, Patreon and all that. Patreon donations are appreciated but not required. Anyone who wants to use either Patreon or the Humble Bundle link to buy Hoi4 or the expansion will, you know, that'll be very generous of you and will help support the channel a great deal, but it is not necessary at all. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye. Just gonna let this song play out a little bit. And also get strongly and highly copyright claimed. Thanks for watching, goodbye.